The day the galaxy laughed, at Earth the Galactic Council gathered as it always did, in silence and light. Floating above a blue-white star, the council chamber was made of crystal, metal, and energy fields. Hundreds of species watched from their seats, their eyes glowing, their minds linked to screens filled with data from across the galaxy. One small blue planet appeared on the main display. Earth. Earth. The reaction was immediate. Bather. Soft. At first, then louder. Why are we even watching them? One council member said. Humans are barely holding their planet together. Another replied. They fight each other more than anyone else. A third added. Earth was old news. A loud species. A messy species. A violent species. Humans had joined the galactic community long ago, then quietly stepped back. They stopped attending meetings. They stopped asking for help. They stopped sharing technology. To the galaxy. That meant only one thing. Earth had fallen behind. They have no mega fleets, said a tall reptilian delegate. No star-forging weapons, said another. No territory outside their system. Someone added. Earth was labeled harmless. The council chairman raised a claw for silence. Still, he said, their recent activity is unusual. The screen zoomed in. Near Earth's moon. Something massive had moved. Not a ship. Not a station. Something ancient. Sensors struggled to read it. What is that? A council scientist asked. The object was dark. Perfectly dark. It reflected no light. It did not emit energy. It looked like a hole cut into space itself. Humans called it nothing. At least not publicly. Probably another failed experiment. Someone laughed. They love dangerous ideas. Another replied. Yet the laughter slowly faded. Because Earth was not panicking. No emergency broadcasts. No evacuation fleets. No frantic signals. Human cities continued their daily life. Children went to school. Trains ran on time. Satellites stayed calm. Earth was quiet. To quiet. A veteran alien observer leaned forward. Set structure, he said slowly, was not built recently. The room grew still. How old? The chairman asked. The scientist paused. Our readings are confused, she admitted, but older than most known civilizations. Some delegates shifted uncomfortably. Humans were young. Everyone knew that, so how could they possess something so old? Before anyone could answer, alarms flashed across the chamber. Not loud, not violent, just wrong. Stars near Earth began to dim. Not explode, not collapse. They simply faded. Light bent, at strange angles. Space itself twisted, like water under pressure. What is happening? Someone shouted. The screens filled with static. Sensors failed. Across entire sectors. Communication relays went silent. Even ancient systems, built by long-dead races, stopped responding. At the center of it all, near Earth's moon, the dark structure began to move. Slowly. Deliberately. Panels shifted. Rings rotated. Symbols appeared, glowing faintly in colors no one could name. The structure was opening. A council member whispered, "Is that a gate?" The veteran observer did not answer. He was staring at Earth's planetary feeds. Human leaders stood calmly in underground rooms. Military commanders watched silent displays. Scientists held their breath. No fear, only focus. Humans are activating it, someone said in disbelief. Why would they do that? Another demanded. Do they even know what it is? The veteran finally spoke. Yes, he said quietly. They know. The Shadow Gate, though the galaxy did not yet know its name, opened wider. Darkness spilled out. Not empty darkness. Dense, heavy, alive. Space, near the gate, disappeared, swallowed by shadow. Then, something moved inside. Council sensors screamed. Warnings before dying completely. Visual feeds remained. And what they showed made the chamber fall into absolute silence. A shape emerged. Then another. Then hundreds. More. Massive forms slid out of the darkness, one after another, without sound, without light. Ships. Not sleek. Not decorative. They were vast, angular, and black. So large they blocked stars behind them. No markings. No flags. No energy signatures. They did not move aggressively. They simply arrived and waited. A council member collapsed into his seat. Those ships, he whispered. They're older than our empire. Another shook their head in horror. There are thousands of them. The gate continued to open. More ships came through. The galaxy had legends. Old stories passed down through forgotten ages. Stories of silent fleets, of watchers in the dark, of a species that prepared not to rule but to survive. Those stories were considered myths until now. The final ship emerged. It was larger than the rest. And when it stopped, the Shadow Gate began to close. Slowly, like it had only opened long enough. To make a point, Earth remained silent. No message was sent. No warning given. The fleet hovered near the planet, unmoving, unstoppable. The Galactic Council finally understood. Something terrible. Humanity had never been weak. Humanity had been waiting, and whatever had just emerged from the Shadow Gate was only the beginning. Why no one feared humanity? The Galactic Council did not speak for a long time. Thousands of black ships floated near Earth, silent and still. The Shadow Gate had closed behind them, leaving no trace, no energy, no signal, no weakness. Only the fleet remained. Council members stared at the screens, their minds struggling to accept what their eyes were seeing. This makes no sense. One delegate finally said, "Humans are a young species." Another replied, "They should not have this," but they did. And that truth forced the galaxy to look back, far back at the mistake it had made. Centuries earlier, when humanity first reached the stars, they were loud. They celebrated every discovery. They argued in public. They fought wars that spilled into space. Alien empires watched and judged. Unstable, they said. Emotional, they said. Dangerous to themselves, they said. Humans asked questions. They requested help. They shared technology freely. At first, the galaxy welcomed them. Then the wars continued. Human colonies burned. Human colonies burned. Human alliances broke. Human leaders changed too often. The council slowly stepped back. Humans noticed that, and they learned. A quiet meeting took place on Earth, long ago. No aliens were invited. No cameras recorded it. Human leaders made a choice. They would not beg. They would not threaten. They would not compete loudly. They would prepare. From that day forward, humanity changed. Public fleets were reduced. Military power was hidden. Exploration. Ships vanished into deep space. To the galaxy, it looked like failure. To humanity, it was focus. Back in the present, the Galactic Council reviewed old data. Human ship production had dropped sharply centuries ago, or so it seemed. What if the data was false? A council analyst asked. False, another replied. From who? The analyst swallowed. From humans. The room went cold. Humanity had shared just enough information to look weak, just enough to appear behind, just enough to be ignored. They stopped attending galactic meetings, not because they were ashamed, but because they were busy. An ancient alien admiral watched silently. He had fought wars before humans even reached space. He had seen empires rise and fall, and now he remembered something. There were rumors, he said slowly. Long ago. Everyone turned to him. Rumors of human ships appearing near dying stars. He continued. Rumors of black fleets, no one could track. Rumors of weapons that did not destroy beginning wars instantly. The council dismissed those stories back then. They called them myths. Now those myths floated near Earth. Some council members tried to calm themselves. Maybe the fleet is old, one said. Maybe it no longer works, another suggested. But the sensors told a different story. The ships were perfectly aligned, perfectly spaced, perfectly controlled. Not a single error. Who was commanding them? Someone asked. The answer was clear. Humans. Earth still sent no message. That silence frightened the galaxy more than threats ever could. A junior delegate spoke carefully. Why would humans hide this for so long? No one answered. Because deep down, they already knew. Humans did not build the Shadow Fleet to impress anyone. They built it because history taught them one lesson, again and again. No one comes to save you. The council reviewed records of past invasions. Time after time, strong empires attacked weaker ones. Time after time, the council debated while worlds burned. Humans had watched those debates. They had learned exactly how long help takes. Too long. A small alien empire, nervous and proud, broke formation. They are bluffing, its leader said. No species hides this much power without using it. Without council approval, the umpire dispatched a scouting fleet. 30 ships. Fast, armed, confident. They moved toward Earth. The Shadow Fleet did not move. The scouts fired warning shots. Bright beams crossed space. They hit one of the black ships. Nothing happened. No explosion. No damage. The black ship turned slightly. Not aggressively. Almost casually. A pulse spread outward. Silent, invisible. Every scout ship shut down. Engines dead. Weapons offline. Life support intact. The crews lived, but they were helpless. The Shadow Fleet did not chase them. It did not destroy them. It simply ignored them. The message was clear. Panic spread through the council. They could have wiped them out, someone whispered, but they didn't. The ancient admiral nodded slowly. That is what makes them dangerous, he said. At last, Earth sent a signal. Not loud. Not proud. Simple. This fleet exists so we never have to use it. That was all. No threats. No demands. Just truth. The Galactic Council realized their mistake. They mistook silence for weakness. They mistook patience for fear. They mistook humanity's chaos for lack of vision. They were wrong. Humanity had been planning, while the galaxy was judging. And now, with the Shadow Fleet revealed, the galaxy faced a hard truth. Earth had never been behind. Earth had been ahead quietly. What came from the darkness, the galaxy held its breath. The Shadow Fleet remained silent near Earth, vast and unmoving. Thousands of black ships floated in perfect order, like a wall between humanity and the stars. And yet, the most terrifying part was not the fleet, it was the gate. The Shadow Gate had closed, but it was not gone. Galactic sensors could no longer see it. But something was still there. A pressure in space. A wound that refused to heal. The Galactic Council focused every remaining scanner on the area. Nothing worked. It is like the gate never existed, one scientist said. But space does not forget. Another replied, they were right. On Earth, deep beneath the planet's surface, human commanders watched silent displays. No cheering, no fear, no celebration. Only focus. The gate is stable, a human engineer said calmly. Residual shadow energy remains. Another added. A senior commander nodded. That is expected. Expected. That single word echoed through alien minds as intercepted. Human signals spread. Humans had planned this moment. Far above Earth. One of the black ships shifted slightly. It was the first movement since the fleet arrived. Galactic observers froze. Weapons powered up across distant empires. But the ship did not attack. It turned toward the empty space where the Shadow Gate had been. Then something impossible happened. Space folded. Not violently. Not suddenly. It bent inward, like fabric pulled by unseen hands. Dark lines appeared thin at first, then wider. The Shadow Gate was opening again. The Galactic Council erupted in panic. It is real. Why open it again? What else could be inside? The answers came too slowly. The gate opened differently this time. Before had felt controlled. Now, it felt deep. Older, the darkness behind it was thicker, heavier, layered with depth no sensor could measure. The first thing to emerge was not a ship. It was a signal. A low-frequency pulse that washed across the galaxy. Ancient systems woke up. Forgotten machines responded. Alien relics bared on dead worlds. Suddenly powered on. Every advanced species felt it. A memory. A warning. From the gate came shapes, unlike the Shadow Fleet. These ships were larger. Slower. Built with a different purpose. Their surfaces were not smooth, but scarred. Marked by age and battle. They carried symbols no living alien could read, but some recognized them there. Guardians, whispered an old archivist race. From before recorded history, the galaxy had stories of watchers in the dark. Of keepers who appeared when civilizations reached dangerous power. Those stories ended the same way. With silence. And survival. More ships emerged. Not thousands, only 12, but each one dwarfed entire alien armadas. They moved with calm authority, positioning themselves around Earth, not protecting it, anchoring something. What are they doing? A council member demanded. No one answered. Because the Shadow Gate was not done. A final shape formed within the darkness. It was not mechanical, it was not alive. It was something between. A structure, a moving fortress, wrapped in shadow, glowing faintly from within. It stopped halfway through the gate. And then, it spoke. Not in words. In meaning. Every species understood it differently. Yet the message was the same. We are still watching. Panic spread like fire. Some empires powered weapons. Others shut down fleets and prayed. A few tried to flee, space entirely. The galaxy had crossed a line, and the watchers had noticed. On Earth, a human commander closed his eyes briefly. The Sentinels have arrived. He said. No fear, only respect. Humanity had known they would come one day. They had prepared for that too. The Sentinels did not attack. They did not threaten. They simply existed. And that was enough. Galactic simulations ran non-stop. Every outcome ended. The same way, if war began, the galaxy would lose. Not to humans, but to what humans had awakened. The Shadow Gate began to close once more. Slowly, carefully, the fortress withdrew back into darkness. The Sentinels remained. The Shadow Fleet stayed in position. Earth remained silent. Finally, a human transmission was sent. It reached every corner of the galaxy. Clear.com/human. This gate was not built to conquer, the voice said. It was built to survive what comes after conquest. Images followed. Ancient wars. Galaxies burned. Civilizations erased by their own weapons. Humanity had found the ruins learned the lesson, and chosen a different path. The message ended with one final sentence. We did not open the Shadow Gate to scare you. A pause. We opened it to remind the galaxy why it still exists. Silence followed. The kind of silence that changes history. The Galactic Council understood now. The Shadow Fleet was not humanity's greatest power. The Shadow Gate was not their greatest secret, their greatest strength. Was something far more dangerous. They learned from the past and prepared for the future. The message that changed the galaxy. The galaxy waited. After the Sentinels arrived and the Shadow Gate closed. No one dared to move. Fleets froze in place. Weapons stayed powered but unused. Even the most aggressive empires chose silence. Because now, the truth was clear. Earth was not alone, and Earth was not afraid. The Galactic Council chamber was quiet again, but this time there was no laughter. Screens showed Earth from orbit. The Shadow Fleet stood like a dark crown around the planet. The Sentinels hovered farther out, ancient and unmoving. Then, a signal appeared. Not a burst, not a threat, not an emergency. A calm transmission request. Source: Earth. The Council hesitated. What if this is a trap? One delegate asked. They do not need traps. Another replied quietly. The signal was accepted. Human appeared on the main screen. Not a soldier, not a ruler in armor, just a person in simple clothes. Standing in a plain room. No flags behind him. No weapons in sight. He looked directly into the camera and waited. That alone unsettled the galaxy. My name is Elias Carter. The human said, I speak for Earth today. His voice was steady. Not proud, not angry, just honest. We know many of you are afraid, he continued. We understand that. The council shifted. No empire had ever spoken like this. Before we say anything else, Elias said, you should know one thing. He paused. We did not build the Shadow Fleet to threaten the galaxy. Murmurs spread across the chamber. Then why build it? Someone demanded. Elias nodded, as if he expected the question. Because history is honest, he said. And it is cruel to those who ignore it. Images appeared behind him. Ruined worlds. Broken megastructures. Silent stars. These were not destroyed by enemies, Elias explained. They destroyed themselves. He showed records pulled from ancient ruins humanity. I had discovered while exploring deep space, civilizations that grew fast, expanded loudly, trusted alliances too much. When disaster came, help arrived too late. Or not at all. Humans learned early. Elias continued that survival is not about power. It is about preparation. The council listened in complete silence. Elias spoke of Earth's past. Of wars, of mistakes. Of nearly losing their own planet. We are not proud of our history, he said, but we learned from it. He explained how humanity chose a different path. Not conquest. Not dominance. Readiness. The Shadow Fleet was built far from our world, Elias said, hidden in places no empire cared to watch. It was built slowly, carefully. Each ship was designed not to destroy planets, but to stop wars quickly, to disable fleets, to end threats before they spread. Power invites fear, Elias said. So, we hid ours. A council member, finally, spoke. You hid this from us for centuries. Yes, Elias replied calmly, because we were not ready to be seen. He looked directly into the camera again. The Shadow Gate is older than humanity, he said. We did not create it. That sent shock through the chamber. We found it, Elias continued, in the dark, between stars. It was a relic from a forgotten age, a warning left behind. Humanity studied it for generations. They did not rush to use it. They waited until they understood the cost. And the Sentinels, a council scientist, asked carefully. Elias's expression changed. Not fear, but respect. They are not ours, he said. They are not weapons. They are watchers. The Sentinels existed to prevent a single outcome: total destruction of intelligent life. They appeared only when civilizations reached a point where one mistake could erase everything. The Sentinels arrived. Elias, we said, because the galaxy is close to that edge. No accusation, just fact. A long silence followed. Then Elias delivered the most important words. We are not your enemies, he said, and we do not seek control. Earth does not want territory, does not demand tribute, does not require obedience. What we want, Elias said, is time. Time to grow wisely. Time to solve problems before wars begin. Time to ensure the galaxy survives its own strength. The message neared its end. Elias took a slow breath. You believed humanity was weak, he said. We allowed you to believe that. Because weak nations are ignored. And ignored nations are free to prepare. His final words echoed across the galaxy. We will not strike first, but we will never be unprepared again. The transmission ended. No cheers followed, no panic. Only understanding. The Galactic Council realized the truth. Humanity did not reveal its power to rule the galaxy. It revealed it to protect the future. And that made Earth something far more dangerous than a conqueror. It made Earth responsible. Fear, pride, and a new balance. The galaxy did not answer Earth's message right away. Silence spread across star systems like a slow wave. Fleets held position. Governments paused emergency sessions. Ancient treaties were reread with shaking hands. For the first time in recorded history, the galaxy was unsure what to do next. Some empires reacted with fear. They powered down weapons. They recalled distant fleets. They closed borders and shut down hyperspace lanes. Their leaders watched a shadow fleet and the sentinels with wide eyes. If Earth wanted war, one ruler said quietly, we would already be gone. Those empires chose caution. They began to change course. Others reacted with pride. A powerful coalition, old and confident, refused to accept what they had seen. Humans are still young, their leader declared. No species hides power unless it fears using it. They believed Earth's calm was weakness. They believed the sentinels were bluff. They decided to test that belief. Without council approval, the coalition launched a probe. Not a war fleet, just one ship, fast, advanced. Armed with scanners and weapons, it crossed the line toward Earth space. The shadow fleet did not move. The sentinels did not turn. The probe continued as it passed a certain distance. Its systems began to fail. Not all at once. Slowly. Navigation drifted. Time readings disagreed. Crew voices echoed. Strangely, the ship's captain tried to turn back. The engines did not respond. A comm signal appeared on their screen. Not human, not alien. Simple symbols formed a message. Observe. Do not cross. The captain froze. The ship stopped perfectly still. No force, no damage, just control. Moments later, the probe was gently pushed back. The way it came. Release. Unharmed. The message was clear. The coalition fell silent. Their pride broke. Fear followed. Across the galaxy, reactions grew stronger. Small civilizations felt something new. Relief. For generations, they had lived under the shadow of larger empires. Forced into alliances, pressured into wars. Now, the balance had shifted. If Earth truly stood for restraint, then bullies had limits. The Galactic Council reconvened. This time, attendance was complete. Every major power sent its leaders. Every minor species demanded a voice. The chairman spoke carefully. We face a choice, he said. Continue as we were, or change. Arguments followed. Some demanded Earth be controlled. Others insisted Earth be honored. A few still called for preemptive action, but none could ignore reality. The galaxy could not defeat Earth, and what stood behind it? A surprising voice spoke next. The ancient admiral. We made a mistake, he said calmly. We judged by noise. He looked around the chamber. The loudest empires rose fast and fell hard. The quiet ones survived. He turned to the screen, showing Earth. Humans chose silence. One by one, empires responded. A trade federation reopened talks with Earth. A military alliance asked for mediation. Not weapons. Old rivals requested peace summits. Earth replied slowly. Carefully. Never demanding. Never threatening. Always listening. Not all reactions were peaceful. In distant regions, warlords panicked. They rushed to build weapons. They seized worlds. They tried to grow fast. Too fast? The sentinels watched, and those warlords vanished from history. No battles recorded. No wreckage found. Just absence. The galaxy learned quickly. On Earth, humans watched reactions with concern, not pride. This is the dangerous part, a human advisor said. When others change because of fear. Earth did not want worship. Earth did not want obedience. Earth wanted stability. A second human message was sent, shorter than the first. Clear. The Shadow Fleet will not expand. The Shadow Gate will remain closed. The Sentinels will watch. A pause. The future of the galaxy is still your choice. The effect was immediate. Tensions eased. Fleets powered down. Borders reopened. Talks began that had been impossible before. The galaxy adjusted. Historians would later write about this moment, not as a war, not as a conquest, but as a correction. The day, the galaxy learned that power did not need to shout. Yet beneath the calm, something else stirred. Hope. If humanity could learn from the past, if restraint could guide strength, then perhaps the galaxy had a future after all. The Shadow Fleet remained in place. The sentinels did not leave. They watched, not as rulers, but as reminders. And the galaxy understood one final truth. The mistake was never underestimating Earth's power. The mistake was assuming that power always wants to rule. Why humanity truly, one time passed. Not days, not weeks, years, and the galaxy changed. The shadow fleet no longer felt like a threat. It became part of the stars. Silent, still, watching. The sentinels remained farther out, beyond common travel routes. They did not interfere. They did not speak again. Their presence alone was enough. Earth did not expand its territory. It did not claim systems. It did not demand tribute. It did not place flags on distant worlds. Instead, Earth did something unexpected. It waited. The Galactic Council reformed, not quickly, not easily, old rules were rewritten. Emergency powers were reduced. Small civilizations were finally given protection. For the first time, debates ended before wars began, because everyone knew if the galaxy failed itself again, someone would notice. Historians struggled to explain humanity. They searched for secret doctrines, hidden ambitions, long-term plans for control. They found none. Human records were open, messy, honest, full of mistakes, but also full of lessons. On Earth, the Shadow Gate was sealed permanently. Human scientists agreed it would never be opened again, not because they feared it, but because they respected it. Some power was not meant to be used twice. A single Shadow Fleet ship remained visible near Earth. The rest slowly faded into deep space, returning to places only humans knew. The galaxy watched them go and felt something strange. Trust. Children across many worlds learned a new story, not about conquerors, not about gods, but about a species that survived itself, a species that looked at destruction and chose patience instead. The ancient admiral, now old, even by his long-lived race, recorded his final message. "We thought humanity was weak," he said. "We thought silence meant fear." He paused. "We were wrong. Silence meant control." There were still conflicts, still arguments, still mistakes. But now, every leader remembered one truth. Power without restraint ends everything, and restraint without power invites ruin. Humanity had balanced both. One quiet day, a small alien delegation arrived at Earth. No warships, no demands. They asked one question: "Why didn't you rule us?" A human representative answered simply, "Because someone had to prove it was possible not to." The galaxy reached its final realization slowly, not in fear, not in awe, but in understanding. Humanity did not win by force. Humanity won by choosing not to lose. Long after fleets were forgotten and borders changed again, one lesson remained, written into galactic law, carved into monuments, whispered in old stories. The most dangerous species is not the one that seeks power. It is the one that can hold it and wait. And somewhere beyond the stars, the sentinels watched, satisfied,